Okay.
Okay, so when we look at data in the right way, it can tell us a story about how the funnel is performing and push us in the direction of small tweaks that make the biggest difference. It's not about measuring everything, it's about understanding which data points give you the most insight. So, what I mean by data telling us a story is that it's very easy to just look at numbers and be like, okay, I think this means things are working. What we're actually looking for is a story. What are the numbers telling us? So a lot of the time, people will come to me and say, well, I tried the funnel, it doesn't work. And what I can already tell by them saying that is that they aren't really fully tracking through the funnel and they aren't sure which part isn't working. Because my guess is no matter how badly your funnel is converting, there are some parts of the funnel that are doing really, really well and some parts that aren't. What people often mean is the funnel actually converts really, really highly, but I'm not getting any traffic into it. Or what some people mean is I'm getting traffic in, but the conversion stops here. And then what we can do with that information is take a look at small tweaks that would allow us to build this funnel into something that's higher conversion, right? So it can be very, very tempting, and hands up who has done this, when something feels like it's not working, to just dump it and then go and start again fresh. Oh, it didn't work, I'm going to do it again. Actually, the thing that's going to get you the best results is small tweaks and being committed to that process. So even if I don't get a webinar converting at the percentage that I want, doesn't necessarily mean I go back and re-record the entire webinar. What it means is I dive in, I look at the whole funnel and see, okay, where is it not working? Okay, on the webinar, where might people actually be falling off? And then based on that, I might just record a small piece in the middle of the webinar and edit the video and put that in, or a small piece at the end and edit the video and put that in. So I really love to share that because data is not only so important for your funnel success, but it's also really important for your freedom of time. And again, you're all joining this because you want more freedom of time. I don't want you to have to be re-recording everything or recreating new PDFs or recreating new emails constantly. I want you to be able to look and know what small tweaks are going to have the best outcome for you. So when you have your funnel map built out, with every action, what you'll do is create goals to actually measure against, right? So hopefully by now you have got your funnel map built out. And if you haven't, you can refer to last week's curriculum. So with that, I'm going to walk you through the little spreadsheet that I made for you that I'm very proud of. Okay, so this is end-to-end funnel data. Now, for those of you who are advanced, you'll look at this and you'll be like, yep, makes total sense. I'm going to go in and fill this in. But those of you who, like I explained at the beginning, are brand new and you're like, Natalie, I can't even figure out how to get the button to send the PDF. And now you're wanting me to look at this spreadsheet. What's going on? So this spreadsheet is an advanced spreadsheet because, like I said at the beginning of this program, I'm going to give you the full gambit, the beginner, the intermediate, the advanced. You might not fill in all of this data in the beginning. You might just track the really important metrics that you know how to track. You might track your leads, you might track how many people attended the webinar, how many people bought, and then it might stop there. And then you might continue revisiting this and continue building it out, okay? So this is really all of the data that I can think about that you might possibly need. And what you can do is just come and delete anything that's not relevant to you. Oh my God, I'm already seeing, this is, yeah, we are the same. I love how much you all love spreadsheets. We're the same people. So I loved building this out for you all. I was like, yes, I'm so glad that we're doing this. So let me just share. There's 2 tabs on here. This is built out for a webinar. You can just tweak this. If you're doing a sales call, all you'll do is sales call attended, sales call missed, sales calls rebooked, right? It's all the same. You'll just build, if you're doing a challenge, you might just build this out to be on day 1, this many people attended, day 2, this many people attended. So no matter what you're building out, this is relevant for you. You'll just go in and change. I kept it to webinar because it's just the most popular, but you can really just change webinar to anything. All of the rest is going to be the same. So what I actually did was I started, let me pull back. I did 2 tabs for you. I've done the actual numbers and I've done the goals. So when I talked about you having your funnel mapped out, you can think about putting some goal numbers in here. So in the last couple calls, I was giving you some examples of this is the show rate you want, this is the conversion rate you want. Or if you already have a funnel, you can base those numbers off that. If you're really, really stuck on this, just ask ChatGPT or Google it, like what's an ideal conversion rate for this, or post in the community and we can support you. So you'll have actuals and goals, because it's really good to know what your goal is and how you're tracking against that, right? So let me walk you through what I did in here for you. I love this. I hope this is really helpful. So qualifier. This is your PDF, normally a PDF, but some of you it might be a quiz. This is a qualifier, okay? So you will track your conversion rate on the sign up page. If you are doing a webinar, sign up on the thank you page, you'll track that here. And then you'll track the overall conversion. So let's say of everyone that lands on your sign up page, 5% are converting. Of everyone that then lands on your webinar sign up page, 1% are converting. So if 100 people are coming through here and X people are coming through here, this amount are actually signing up all the way through. Then I did your webinar. So I made the assumption that a lot of you are going to be using ManyChat just based on the different trainings that I've given you. Not all of you are going to be. So you can just delete this. If it's not helpful, just click delete. You don't have to use it. But if you are, what I have put in here is how many people attended, how many people missed, how many people watched the replay. And then I have put in emails that they'll receive beforehand as reminders. I talked about this on the last call, but it's really important that we remind people to show up, because also let's say you don't have these in place, right? And only 10% of people are attending. Well, let's just go add these in and all of a sudden you could boost that up to 50%, right? I also put this option, if you are doing ManyChat reminders, here's where you can track that. Again, you don't need to do all of this, but I just wanted you to have the option of all the things that you might be doing, right? Okay. Oh my God, that comment is hilarious. It's like NASA for funnels. That is the biggest compliment of my life. My life is complete now. Then I also put in email sequence and retargeting. I only want you to focus on the retargeting piece if you are skilled at ads. If this is not your first rodeo, if you have not done ads before, just ignore that, all right? So there's a few different things that I did in here. I have put in an action. So this is where I said you want to have a 30-minute bonus in your webinar. I think it's absolutely essential. And then I also said you probably want to have an overall bonus. Some of you will have this bonus running for 72 hours or maybe even 5 days, whatever it is. If you have this bonus running for longer than 48 hours, just change this to how many days or how many hours and do the same thing here. The reason I like to see this is I want to see how many people are jumping in right away, how many people are jumping in after that bonus period has ended. And then I also put in, if you want to start mapping out some retention and advocacy numbers, you totally can. I didn't do this in here because it's not funnel based, but what I mean by this is, you know, retention, if someone is signing up and their monthly, how long are they staying for? Or how many friends are they bringing in? For us at Boss Babe, this is something that we do track and we do consider. So I put it in there just to prompt you. It's not something you need to be thinking about now, but again, if you're advanced, I just wanted you to have this as an option in there. So let me just do a little bit more of a rundown of why this is important and how you are going to use it. So that's like the TLDR. It is essential that you have a dashboard for your funnel. Even if in the beginning you're looking at this and you're like, Natalie, this might as well be a different language, I don't understand it, it's still really important that you track. If you decide to work with us, you know, ongoing and you want us to keep looking at your funnels, I'm going to be saying, show me this spreadsheet so I can see where the drop off is. If your funnel isn't converting, I'm going to be looking at, okay, why are we not converting here? And so we're going to want to be seeing this. Actually, one thing that I'm just thinking, if I was coaching you, one thing I would look at in this funnel is your traffic. So you might even want to put traffic in here. If you were going to do that, I would probably just put it, I would probably just add it underneath one of these to see how much traffic you were getting. That's definitely something that I would ask. I'm not going to add it in because it's going to just look different for everyone. But that's what I'd be looking at. Okay, only a small percentage of people are converting on the sign up page. We need to make some tweaks to the headline, to the copy. Okay, if most people are not actually attending, we need to get them attending. Or if everything's converting really well, but the webinar's not converting, we need to go look at the way we're positioning it. We need to look at what we taught. We need to look at how much we overwhelmed versus how much we were really seeding the sell. I would look at all of that. I would look at how many people are opening, how many people are clicking, how many people are converting. I would look at every single thing. And so if I was coaching you, and I'm saying this because I want you to be able to coach yourself, I would never, ever, ever say to any of my clients, you've built this funnel, it's not working, go scrap it and let's start again. Never. I would often say, I need you to tweak this email. I need you to tweak this bonus. I need you to tweak this email, right? I would look at very small things inside the funnel dashboard to be able to make tweaks, because I really, really want you to be able to master something, which means making a lot of those small improvements. So let me talk you through it, and then we're going to do some Q&A. So I'm going to talk you through it as if we're talking about building out your funnel map, okay? So let's say in your funnel map, people are coming into your PDF and they are signing up on your PDF. On the thank you page, they're signing up to your webinar. On your PDF, let's hope you've got more than 50% conversion. And then on your webinar thank you page, maybe it's a 20% conversion, right? Let's hope all of that is set up. Then let's hope 40% of people are attending your webinar. Let's hope 20% are watching your replay. And then let's hope 10% are purchasing within 30 minutes. And 15% as a whole are purchasing within that 48 hours, or maybe it's a 7-day window. That's what I would hope. And then you can decide, are you going to do any ManyChats? Are you going to do email reminders? Are you going to actually do any retargeting ads? This is something that we do. List out the ads you're going to use here. If you're working with an ad specialist, make sure they map this out. So what you're going to do based on the funnel map that you created, you're going to come into this goals section and you're going to build all of this out based on the goals that you want to have. You'll come in and you'll just delete anything that's irrelevant to you. Keep the stuff that is relevant. And then when you have put at least 100 people through it, let me say it again, when you've put at least 100 people through it, you're going to come back and actually build this out with all of the data. If you do it before 100 people, you're not going to have accurate data. And ideally, we have more than that, but 100 is the baseline. So that is the dashboard. You now have access to this inside of your week 6 curriculum. So all you'll do is come in here and you'll click make a copy, or it might prompt you to do that automatically. And this is yours to play with. If you mess it up, you can just copy it again, play with it, get the hang of it. Hopefully this will start to prompt you some of the things that you'll have as well. Everyone's is going to be different. And my hope is that you can really personalize this, but that this has just saved you time. I was actually going to have you build this out from scratch, but hopefully this will save you time and you can just change it around based on what you actually need, okay? So another thing that we are going to do is there is an option for those of you who are even more advanced than the spreadsheet, who actually want to build out a data studio in Google and have this automated for you. We are going to put an advanced training inside your curriculum to show you how to do that. It's a complete optional thing for you to do. You don't need to do it, but I just want to make sure that we're giving you those options. All right. So with that, let's go into Q&A. But before I talk about that, I'm going to give you a homework because this might inspire some Q&As from you. So using the funnel template, I want you to map out every element of your funnel and assign goals to each. Hopefully by now you have already mapped out each element of your funnel. So ideally you're just going in and putting your goals. And in an ideal world, you are adding these goals to your funnel spreadsheet. And then if you can tailor this spreadsheet to fit your funnel, that would be great. If you can't get that done this week, that is not essential. What's most important is that you're starting to pull the jigsaw pieces of your funnel together and you're thinking about your goals. So let's dive into some Q&A because I know we have some burning questions from today and on funnel. So let me pull them up. Is the Google dashboard video the same as the one in the society curriculum? It's very similar. I don't think it's the exact one. I'm going to double check because we have 2 versions of them. We're just confirming with our team. But very, very similar. It's the same company that we're using who are doing it. let me see, let me stop sharing and then I can see all of these questions. Okay. If your funnel is evergreen, do you look at the data every month once you hit 100 people or another set period of time? I would review mine every single week. For me, I'm putting people through every single week, so it's really important for me to catch things. It's through reviewing things like this, I can often see if an automation has broken. You will be surprised. You'll spend all this time setting up the tech, and 1 week you might find that one of the emails stopped sending or this tech broke. And so what will happen is you'll look at it and you'll start to see if something's not working, something might be broken. Okay, can you walk through how this would go for a private podcast to application form to sales call as a key metric? So I can't walk you through that exact funnel, but the way that I would say you're doing it is the private podcast is your opt-in qualifier and the sales call is your conversion event. So that's how I would translate it into this kind of dashboard, okay? I'm confused at the email sequence. Is it 2 sets of email sequences, one for opting in and then one for webinar time reminders? Yes, Skevi. So all of this is covered in last week's curriculum. If it hasn't fully landed for you yet, go and rewatch that. I list out all of the different email campaigns that you're going to want to implement and what they are all for. Can we really simplify the funnel until we become advanced, or do we have to have everything that is on your flow chart? You will do this as simple as you possibly want to in the beginning. If all you want to do is get people onto sales calls and you don't want nothing else, cool, that's a funnel. Let's get the sales calls working. Let's get traffic in the funnel. If you want to just have a webinar and you want to get people to the webinar and that's it, that's great. Just do that. I'm giving you the full advanced, and you can just do a bit by bit. When I first started, I didn't have all the email sequences. I didn't have all the fancy things. I started with a webinar and I realized, I'd probably be able to get more conversions if I did an email sequence, if I did this. And so I started to add things on, but it wasn't absolutely essential, right? This is from a few weeks back, but if you're doing sales calls from Evergreen one-to-one coaching, what would be an example of a time-sensitive bonus? So any kind of bonus, you really want to make sure that it adds something to the experience and that it makes the offer feel like an absolute no-brainer. So if you're not 100% sure, I would just revisit the offer work, and based on your ideal client, that question that I say you should ask yourself is like, what would be crazy? What would be really crazy to do? Because irresistible offers really, really convert. Inka wants to ask, if you want to ask a question about the qualifier, we're not doing unmuting today, but feel free to post this in the community and we'll definitely support you there if it's a longer form. How would you get accurate numbers with an evergreen funnel? The back-end email stats won't refresh per week. Yes, so I still go in every week and look at my numbers. So even we send Monday and Friday emails every single week, I still track those every single week. You're going to get those solid numbers within 48 hours. Yes, it might change a little bit in a week, but I would still be looking at that every single week. For someone starting out with no audience, at what point would you activate the funnel? Would you insert a waitlist at a certain point before leading to conversion? I wouldn't be doing a waitlist. No, I would be getting the opt-in qualifier out there. If you're wanting to build a launch list, I would get the opt-in qualifier out there. And when you've got enough people in there, I would then start with the funnel. Okay. I'm not sure whether to run a webinar or a sales call as my conversion event. What would you recommend? If you can handle sales calls, do sales calls. If your product is higher ticket enough that it makes sense for you to do sales calls, like it's not going to make sense if it's a $99 product, right? But if it's high enough revenue, I would do sales calls. The reason is you're going to learn how to sell. And this is going to be really, really powerful. Eventually you could turn that into a conversion event, but you're going to get a higher conversion during a sales call. Okay, let me see. Okay, Samra said, so I basically pick which platform to use and I can create everything through the platform / yes. So my recommendation, especially if you're a beginner, but it's still something that I do, and I would say we're not beginners, is pick an all-in-one platform. I know I give you every time for the sun last week because I promised you I wouldn't tell you the lay of the land, but I think you really should be having an all-in-one platform, otherwise it's very confusing. So go with a ClickFunnels or a Kajabi. I think that's going to simplify everything for everyone. If you start using all these different platforms to do everything, it's going to be very confusing when it comes to tech. Let me see. Heidi said, what is the post-sale conversion between the conversion event and offer purchased? It's showing an arrow to another conversion event of sales funnels. We're confused. Let me pull up. Can one of my team link me to the submission form right now? And I will just hop on and share my screen so I can walk you guys through that. Let me see. How often do you update the numbers? Same question, every single week. Is there a max price of our programs that work to purchase from the webinar? So I have used a webinar to convert all the way up to $10,000. I would not recommend this if you're a beginner. I would not recommend that you are going above $2,000 if you're a beginner, because you really want to dial in your conversion. Let me see. Okay, let me do one more question, then I'm going to share my screen. If we are doing an email sequence as our conversion event, would we just ignore the webinar conversion event section and only track the qualifier signups? No, Mercedes. So I would still be, if you're with your conversion event, I would still be tracking, especially within that 48-hour window, how are people actually interacting with those emails. I would still track it because you're really seeing it. So in that conversion section, I would build out all of the emails and still track everything in there. Okay. Are you saying all of our reminders can be done on ManyChat and not on emails at all? Yes, that's all personal preference. You can do your webinar reminders anywhere that you want, but I think email is great. I would do that, but if you're in the beginning phases, you just get to do what feels easy and fun so that you can get things going. And if it doesn't convert as well, then you get to optimize it, but you don't need to stress about it. Okay. So let me see. This is the funnel review submission form. So again, I'll just go through a couple of things that I want to make sure. So please fill this out with detail. This is just really, really helpful for us when we see it. And then this is where you put your funnel map. This is challenges, roadblocks, or question related to your funnel. This is not just general questions. It's not like a coaching area. And then what you'll do is add in your Loom here. So make sure your Loom is available to everyone. And then I'm just making sure I cover the question. Let me see. It was the post. What was the question? It was around the post conversion event. Let me see. I'm trying to answer the question that I got. I'm not really seeing where this is. If you are still struggling with that, just post in the community and maybe put a screenshot in and we can explain it to you. But this is everything. Please just make sure that you give us as much info as possible, and then any links have been made accessible. Make sure that you give links of everything. Okay, we really, really want to have links to all of the different details. Okay, so 2 of us posted this question, but no one has answered. Team, can you go and check on that from Heidi, please, and make sure we get an answer in ASAP. Let me see, any more questions that I am missing? Okay, I think I've covered most of them around funnel submission. Let me see if there's one more I can answer in the Q&A that will be helpful for everyone. Okay, Anita said, I have a $97 course as my offer. I wanted to do a mini webinar for my conversion event, but you mentioned doing an email sequence with a Loom video for a low-cost offer. Can you explain what this would look like? Yeah, I wouldn't do a webinar for a $97 product. If you go back to last week, I listed out what an email, a sales email sequence would look like. And I mentioned if you're not doing a webinar, you'll just use that. And you could put a Loom video on any of those actual emails. You could also just do the email sequence and that would probably convert. Okay, so. Oh, I just want to, I know we're at time, but I just want to answer this one question. Do you think it's possible to have a very powerful funnel from ads that convert really well without having to post every day and post stories constantly? I feel like if people don't buy, they don't organically connect with me. Yes, I know so many people who run their business solely using ads and do not do organic social. You get to really choose. We have a traffic masterclass coming up next week too, where I'm going to be going into detail on all of this stuff. Okay, so if you didn't catch the beginning of this and you do want to submit a funnel review, please watch the replay. All of the assets from today's session are now inside of your curriculum. And next week, we are going to have a pretty detailed call all on traffic. So if you do want to get here a little bit early, it's probably helpful because we're going to really go in. There's a lot of information to cover. And then as always, make sure you come to our Friday office hours with questions, and then also use the community and we will make sure that we get all of your questions answered. All right. Okay. I will see you all on this society call, or I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. Yeah. Okay. So when we look.
Okay. What do you think? Questions?
It's like kind of hard to think about the data when I'm like, bah, I gotta build it.
And she said, I'm so glad I just re-listened to this because I have mine built and I have like 10 people who have gone through it and I'm still like, I don't like the spreadsheet once makes my brain want to explode. And that's just because my brain doesn't think like that. But I also can't be organized if I don't have this information. So I was really glad that she validated that it might look like this is just a foreign language.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to go in here, or what other thoughts that you had?
No, I mean, I think that, yeah, I think the workbook is kind of helpful. I think mine would obviously look a lot more like simplified. I know I'm kind of interested, so it must be like through Kajabi. Like I know I can get like the links. I can get all that data through my like Flow desk, but I mean, obviously I don't have anything like ClickFunnels. And I know Tech Stack was the one that was like 2 weeks ago, like kind of thinking through the different tech stacks she uses and stuff. But
Mhm.
I mean, I just do everything in Flowdesk. So like I'd have to figure out like what I could potentially build in there as like a starter.
Yeah. I did not remember her talking about the Google training either. Like if Google can pull all of this, like does Google crawl our platforms and our websites
Google
or
crawls
something?
everything pretty much.
Yeah.
The answer is
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, this part is so much, but it also is like, this is just, if I can get into this, then I understand it, right? I'm still operating
Yeah.
from a place of like, I think, not I know, because this is what the data says.
Yeah, and I think like her point about seeing if something's broken, I think like that is just so common. Like it's so easy. Like even if you have one system, it's just like I've noticed that all of a sudden like a link is outdated or like some domain change, something happened, and it's just like it'd be good to, I think like that's a really smart thing. Be like, oh, this is just broken or not working. Cause like rather than having a customer have to be like, hey, this isn't working, at least you get some feedback.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I have eyes, like even the ritual or the rhythm of checking on it weekly would be game changer for me, because in so many different ways, data wise, like that's my focus this year is marketing and data, and the two have to go hand in hand, and I've never really thought of them as going hand in hand before, but that just has to be the name of the game. Because
don't you have someone building you a dashboard?
so I have a member who builds out dashboards. However, it's a pretty price point, like $2,500 for just a really basic one, which would be amazing. But it's not automated. And so then it goes, she has like tiers, $2,500, $5,000, or then $10,000 for it to be completely automated. And so of
Okay.
course in my brain, I was like, I'm just gonna go find $10,000 so that I can like pay you for this. But I have not found like in the state of Montana, there's not a lot that's offered and everything else is like incredibly competitive. So I haven't been awarded anything that I've applied for yet. And I've applied for like 3 or 4 different things.
Okay.
So I still very much want that. Especially if I'm like, what does this look like to have something going in a different city or a number of different cities? Like it needs to be automated. I can't have one person like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, I'm kind of circling back to that of like, okay, I need to try a different approach of finding some cash to pay for this because I feel like this is the type of thing that like a state economic development center would fund, you
Yeah.
know, it's like, so that a small business can understand their data and actually take being a business seriously and grow and be able to employ people and all of that.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on that. I just
Need
haven't
fun.
found the money yet. Not that I even haven't been looking, but um anyway. So this is a good start though. I have started to build this out and even just in the beginning was like, what the fuck? I'm confused because I'm not doing a webinar. My conversion event right now is a free co-working day.
Yeah.
So, but I guess I have done, I did recently start like a sales just like emails that I was sending. I was like, I'm going to see if I can convert with email and see what that looks like. Cause I do I need to get like some members in the door and I haven't had anybody convert yet, but I'm like, I wonder why, like, I need to go back and look at it. So it would be smart of me to have like this conversion dashboard for the sales conversion event and then a different one or a separate one for when people come into the space to co-work. And so then it's like more and more fucking dashboards, but at least
I know.
paying attention to what's happening. So
Yep. Okay.
anyway,
Data.
I know. Okay, I wrote that message just to remember to share that dashboard. Would that be helpful for you?
Yeah, I'll definitely make a copy of it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to go small, so I'm not trying to get overwhelmed in all the things. And I just like, I'll make a copy of it and I'll make a separate tab and I'll be like, well, what if I just did like this one event and these 4 emails and this one thing and these 4 emails rather than like getting overwhelmed, like a nice little practice run and then see how the data piece works.
That's smart.
I'm not getting enough data at all. My new system like does better data with like check-ins and things, but like even that, it's just like, I don't know. I don't even know how often people are like coming in and out of the office. So
I'd love on a different call to hear more about that new system that you're using.
yeah, it's
Archie,
Archie.
you like it?
I do like it. It isn't I had worked I like it. I'm having some issues with it as to be expected, but it's combined, like I got rid of Luma, I got rid of like, I was using this other system for like higher priced ticketed events. It got rid of like Calendly for tours. It got rid of something for day passes. So there is a lot of beauty in it, like consolidated a few things, but it's not as robust as like Luma was for events. But at least like when I come in, I can look at how much money did I get from events this month, customer, so, and it lets me paywall stuff, which is helpful. So because I have so many memberships, it helps me simplify it a little bit that way. So a member doesn't have to know. They just come in and their ticket price is whatever they see. So it helps there. It's like missing some of the stuff that I was used to that I'm kind of running into and trying to figure out what the workarounds within the system are though.
Yeah.
But Emma uses it at the collab.
Yeah.
So we both are on it. So I'm interested to see kind of some of the stuff that she does in it that I'm
Mhm.
still learning. But they built in like extra chat channels for me. So they still are they're like open to like build, which was one of the things that to me is like a little bit, I was like, oh, if you're open to like actually doing things, like you're actually a tech company who's like constantly like adding in, your roadmap is actually a little bit more robust. And I'm seeing it because the other platform, like, oh, we have this roadmap, but like I never saw them build anything. So
Yeah.
building some new things in there regularly that keeps updating it. So I kind of went with a system that I thought would be more open to grow than so.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Well, Godspeed on that front and with the kiddos and the family home sick. I hope that did you say she gets to go home tomorrow or to school tomorrow or
I
you're
think
on day
so.
6?
She's looking better today. She's just been complaining about her ears. So I'm taking her to make sure she doesn't have an ear infection, like as an aftermath of like all the congestion last week. But she's just sitting here doing a puzzle, looking pretty good right now. So, we'll see. But right now, this morning she was like sobbing and crying and didn't want to get out of bed and just wanted snuggles. I'm like, I can't send you to school even if you don't have like a fever like this. So we'll go to the doctor and see and send her back tomorrow.
If it is an ear infection, at least you can get them on the antibiotics. Not that I love
That's me. I know. I'm like,
and they can go.
at least I can know they're on antibiotics. They're not contagious. Like, just get her in and get her back. So,
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. To those of you who listen later, we missed you and hell yeah, data. Okay. Bye.
yeah.